Although global warming is a topic that has been highly discussed since the 2000s, its effects are now coming into play on a greater scale. I'm sure everyone has noticed on the news how there's a new natural disaster every day, each one seeming to top the next one in its historical destruction. My name is Amanda, and today I'm going to argue that global warming affects the nature of natural disasters globally. We all know that global warming can come with many side effects involving the climate, which affects natural disasters and how they affect the population where they are taking place. I argue this with three claims, the first being that global warming causes more frequent and intense hurricanes. The second being that there are more frequent heat waves, and the third being that there is more frequent rainfall. Although the Earth is naturally volatile, with the Earth's rotations causing a dramatic cooling and warming of the Earth periodically, the changes that are seen in climate and the natural world today are not due to this and are instead due to global warming. As the Quaternary Science Review magazine suggests, about half of the temperature variability is attributable to greenhouse gases, somewhat less is solar forcing, and 10 to 20% to internal climate variability. One of the first claims that global warming affects natural disasters is the intensity of recent hurricanes. Because of global warming, coastal storms now have a greater chance of becoming a Category 4 or 5 hurricane, which are far more damage than a coastal storm. This is directly attributable to the fact that higher ocean levels and water temperature corresponds to the intensity of a hurricane. As Carrie Emanuel states, numerous studies suggest an increase in 2 to 3% in hurricane strength for every 1 degree Celsius increase in sea surface temperature. Also, the driving contributor in the occurrence of cyclones and hurricanes, which is referred to as El Niño, has had its cycle intensified by global warming, meaning that the hurricanes in the areas affected by El Niño are more likely to be intense as well. Another key fact in the change of how serious natural disasters are becoming is that fatal heat waves have increased in number and intensity due to global warming. Because global warming traps heat in the environment, it causes weather and climate to change globally. Therefore, areas closer to the equator that already experience high temperatures are more likely to experience heat waves that will last longer and cause a higher number of fatalities, such as India. Because many of the countries that experience these heat waves are underdeveloped, they do not have the means to properly prepare themselves, which, as Sandra Matmere says, has a direct effect on water, energy, and telecommunication. With a greater amount of prolonged heat waves and drought also comes a greater amount of forest fires. In dry areas especially, such as California, we have seen a greater number of wildfires that have turned fatal, with the current California NorCal fire causing at least 17 fatalities so far. As Science magazine states, wildfires occur nearly 4 times more often and burn 6 times the land and last 5 times as long today as they did decades ago. Lastly, global warming has also caused additional rainfall in already wet areas such as the mountains. The effects can be seen in an increased number of landslides that are caused by the amount of additional rainfall experienced along places where natural slopes have already been declined by and affected by heat. More rainfall is connected to the melting of glacial ice caps caused by climate change. The rainfall also causes greater amounts of floods, with scientists saying that rain falls 67% more with precipitation in the Northeast, 31% more in the Midwest, and 15% more in the Great Plains, including the Dakotas, than they did 50 years ago. The claims I made earlier included global warming being the cause of the frequency and intensity in the way that natural phenomenon will run its course. Not only does global warming cause climate to heat up globally, which will cause intense heat waves, wildfires, and droughts, but it also leads to dramatic amounts of increased rainfall, which can lead to landslides and flash floods. The intensity of hurricanes and cyclones will also be much greater. All of these mentioned natural disasters have led to a greater number of deaths since the effects of global warming have become more serious over the course of decades. Because of these claims, I support the main claim that global warming has changed the core of natural phenomenon now and in the future.
Do you have an outline for me?
Oh, no, I'll have it on Monday.
Oh, okay. I did give an outline to somebody though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. All right, the proposition's very clearly identified. There's a good preview of what the supporting structure is going to be. It's phrased appropriately. I think there's enough of a controversy on this that it seems fine. The signposting in the body of the speech is pretty good, especially at the end you have a summary that reminds us of what those individual points are, so that helps quite a bit. You do a pretty good job providing information on the individual points. There's good citation of the sources that you're providing. Sometimes I think we need a little bit more contextual information for the comparisons. For example, you mentioned the intensity of the hurricanes increasing by 2 to 3% with an 1% increase in centigrade in the surface water temperature. And I'm going, okay, so where's the stuff that says we've had that? I think there's a step that's missing there, and I think that shouldn't be that hard to add to the presentation. Some of the other spots, we have some similar kinds of things, but like I said, there's usually a good piece of information to back up an argument or at least offer some connection to the point that's being presented. The presentation's a little bit problematic because there's a lot of reading, and part of that's, I know, because you do have some good data, and like I said, I think the summary was pretty effective. All right, thank you.